Oh, bring the horns out for me. Bring the horns out. Bring the guns out. Bring the guns out. Drop the bomb. Drop a definite bomb. Yo, listen. BG is home. Cash Money. Legendary 1/4 member of the Hot Boys. BG, baby gangster, B Jizzle is back home. All right, now let me get an applause for that, brother. I need applause for Jizzle. Facts though, big applause for B Jizzle, baby gangster. Now you guys know BG. He's been locked up for about 11 years. That's a lot of time. BG did a lot of time. I just want to congratulate him, man. I want to give him his flowers. Like I told you guys, BG is 1/4 member of the legendary group Hot Boys that consists of Juvenile, Turk, and Lil Wayne. All right. Some might argue that Baby was a part of Hot Boys also. All right. Nonetheless, I ain't mad at that. BG is back home. We've been waiting for BG to come back home. This has been spoken about for a long time. BG, Cash Money BG. There was a lot of false alarms, right? We thought he was been coming home prior to him being released, but they were all false alarms. False alarms. So you guys, BG is officially back home. What do you guys feel about that? That's 11 years. So that's 10 and add that extra 1. 11 years. Guys, most rappers that do 10 years or more in prison, they basically can't get back into their groove. Let's just be honest. It takes a while for an artist. The more years that you spend locked up, incarcerated, the less likely, the less probability that you will rise back to where you was in ranks. All right? So BG, Cash Money, is home. BG is home, y'all. But my question is, let's not even go into all the speculation about BG. Let's just talk about his journey. 11 years. All right. They were taking care of him. When you see BG got released, BG came off of the escalator. He was met by Hot Bizzle, HB. Now, Hot Bizzle that's a member of Cash Money. That's Baby, self-proclaimed best friend. Hot Bizzle is Baby's best friend. All right. Now you see Hot Bizzle, he greeted B Jizzle as he was coming down the escalator. Jizzle came down the escalator, rightfully so. All right, he was greeted with hugs, but it wasn't a warm feeling between him and Hot Bizzle. When BG came down that escalator, the embracement of BG between BG and Hot Bizzle, he didn't seem too much to embrace him. But nonetheless, Baby came through and he gave Baby a big hug. All right. So Baby gave B Jizzle a big hug. So Baby met B Jizzle at the airport coming off of the plane. Rightfully so. So guys, that's a good indication. So all you guys that are Hot Boys fans, that are Cash Money fans, that's a great indication. That's an indication that something is brewing, right? Because we know at one point BG and Baby, they were not seeing eye to eye. BG and Baby wasn't seeing eye to eye at one moment, right? But now we're able to see that there was some type of embracement followed by awarding him with a pendant. All right? And maybe I should close my fingers a little bit. The pendant wasn't that big. Well, I can go up. All right. The pendant was that big, but it was very thin. It appeared to be very small. But nonetheless, he was greeted with a gift. Now, when I first seen the pendant, you guys, that Baby handed BG, you guys know when rappers come home from jail, a lot of times they are forgotten. Majority of times rappers are forgotten by their friends as well as their label. Not that many rappers come home and are rewarded. We've seen rappers come home and come home on private jets. We've seen rappers come home to nothing. No greeting, no love, other than the fans on social network. All right. So it was good to see BG being rewarded. So when BG came down that escalator, I seen him coming smooth down the escalator. I thought BG would have been a little bit bigger, because I know when cats be locked up, they be working out. BG didn't seem to be that big. All right. Though in the pictures is conflicting, because the pictures are like BG was cut up. Like he toned up. I didn't see the tone, but mind you, he was wearing baggy clothes. So BG made his way down the escalator. He was greeted by Hot Bizzle. Thereafter, Baby, a couple minutes after, Baby pulls up. So now Baby pulls up on BG. Baby has a box with him in which he greets BG, and he passes BG this box. All right, a little white box. Now, obviously, looking at the box, we knew it was a gift. Anybody would have seen that was a gift, right? Because we know how Cash Money do. It's Cash Money Records. Your man just did 11 years. You're the bar. You stunner man. You Cash Money ballers, big timer. So we expect you to have gifts. It's just rightfully so. So now BG proceeds to open his box. When BG opens the box, BG opened the box, there was a small little pendant inside that box. You guys, when I looked at the pendant, I was disappointed. Nah, call me ignorant. Call me ignorant. You know, as rappers, we see rappers with big pendants. Now, we know big pendants, sometimes big doesn't always mean quality. Big doesn't always add up to quality, right? So with that being said, I'm looking at the pendant. I seen the BG's pendant, that Cash Money pendant that Baby passed him. It had a lot of diamonds in it. All right. So I'm going to give Baby some credit. There was a lot of diamonds in BG's pendant. A lot of times people are wearing jewelry. Their jewelry appears to be big, but the quality is very low grade quality. So it's cheap. Though it looks great in your eyes, it doesn't have that value connected with it, right? So when I looked at BG, the little pendant, the little itty bitty pendant that Baby passed him, it still looked like it was expensive. Them diamonds was definitely, they was doing the merengue. The diamonds definitely was doing the merengue. They was doing the salsa. The diamonds were dancing, all right? So I give it credit to that. But it appeared to be very small. And ego-wise, to be honest with you, when BG opened that box, BG lacked in luster. BG was not excited about that pendant. Really, that pendant seemed like you was just branding him again. The pendant was just a representation of a branding. It's like you take some steak and you take your brand, L.O.T.S approved stamp, and you just branded BG again with the Cash Money. Right, so I was under that impression, y'all. But I had to take time, give it time. That's why I'm happy I'm able to give it to you guys now. So now, when I see the pendant now, Baby followed up and he spoke. He whispered something to BG, not necessarily whispered, but he was real close to him. He didn't say it very loud. In which he said, he told BG, Baby told BG, check your bank account. I did you right. I did you right. Now, when Baby says check your bank account, I did you right, that hits different. Shout out to Baby, shout out to Cash Money, because I'm under the pressure. Somebody told me that Baby gave BG $1 million. Somebody told me that Baby from Ciamara gave BG $1 million. And if that's the case, though it might be fabricated, you guys, I don't have no confirmation on this. But if that's the case and Baby did give BG $1 million, that's love. I don't even care about that pendant no more. Because the pendant and the ice foolery, to be honest with you, a lot of times when people give black people jewelry, a lot of times they're being gaffled. They're being swindled, right? Because people know with the jewelry, people get blinded by jewelry. And a lot of times jewelry can compensate for good business. Meaning contractually, you might not be getting the best deal. But guess what? They hand you some jewelry. And that jewelry, you put the jewelry on and you start getting compliments from the jewelry. You start getting girls because they're looking at the jewelry, how it's glittering. And that sometimes that's enough until you realize that jewelry is not worth as much as the contract stipulations that you should have had them adhere to. Contraction, you can't make up for contracts with jewelry, is what I'm trying to say. All right. So the jewelry is that's to throw you off. So when I seen Baby passing BG the jewelry, that wasn't a big thing to me. Like I said, I feel like that was a swindle, But I'm just saying, if there was no money involved, I'm not saying that Baby's trying to swindle him, but I was speculating, right? Rightfully so. I don't know the Cash Money dealings. I only know what we see on the internet. All right. But nonetheless, guys, BG is home. Shout out to BG. He was met by Baby. He was gifted a pendant without the chain. That's cool because reports are saying that Baby dropped $1 million in BG's account. That part, man, and big up to Baby. I appreciate that. I really don't like when our rappers come home and they don't get their love. It's kind of sad because we enjoy hip hop, brother. I'm gonna be real with you. I am a hip hop enthusiast. I love hip hop. So I look at these artists and stuff like that. I like to see them coming out in good condition so they can continue to provide us with that quality music. So with that being said, we hoping that BG gets back in the studio. Baby has already been speaking about the Cash Money reunion, all right? So what Baby is setting BG up for is the Cash Money reunion, apparently. And we all knew this prior to BG coming home, that Baby was trying to get Cash Money back together. All right. Obviously, they couldn't do that until BG was able to come back home. Well, BG is home now. So we're looking forward to that Cash Money project. But pause on that. All right. You guys, Cash Money is 4 to 5 members. Like I said, we add Baby in there. I think Baby, well, not Cash Money, excuse me. Hot Boys is 4 to 5 members. So some people add Baby to that scenario. There's an individual that goes by the name of Turk. Now, Turk, as of recently, hasn't been getting along with BG. Also, Turk sued Baby Cash Money. So Turk won $1 million lawsuit, maybe more than $1 million. I'm not sure the exact numbers. But currently, Turk is not in good stance with BG. He's not currently he's not in good stance with Baby. So now we don't know if Turk is going to be able to make amends in time for the reunion of the Cash Money project. But Baby, I'm going to tell you, Baby, straight up, Cash Money is not a reunion without Turk. There's no Cash Money reunion without Turk. Beat it up, tell him to stop. Turk got the hottest record on Project Chick. Listen, man, Turk got some of the hottest rhymes on certain shit. So if you cannot remove Turk from Hot Boys. Turk has some of the hottest verses in those collaborations. You know, I can't recall all the verses, y'all. I can't recall all the verses. I'm not gonna butcher it, but Turk has the hardest verses. All right. So shout out to Turk. There's no Cash Money reunion without Turk. The same way there was no Cash Money reunion. Well, Cash Money. There's no Hot Boys reunion without Turk. Nor there was no reunion without BG. All right. In order to have an official Hot Boys reunion, we gotta have Juvenile. All right, Juve. We gotta have Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Young Moolah. We have to have BG, and we definitely have to have Turk. All right, in order to have an official Hot Boys reunion. We don't necessarily need Baby to have a Hot Boys reunion other than signing off on it. But at visuals, we don't necessarily need Baby in a Hot Boys reunion. No disrespect to Baby, because he's the key component to Hot Boys. He came up with the name for Hot Boys for them. He's the one that designed their whole type of like their image. So there's no Hot Boys without Baby. Honestly, to be honest. But I'm talking about in the visual of the rapping part, the entertainment part, we don't necessarily need Baby. Baby's probably the only expendable one. But in order to have an official Hot Boys reunion, we got to have Juvie, BG, Wayne, and Turk in order to have official Hot Boys reunion. Right now, Turk name is in jeopardy right now with Baby. Turk and Baby are not seeing eye to eye, as well as BG and Turk are not seeing eye to eye. And you guys seen Turk has been very vocal. Turk has been one of the most vocal Hot Boy members as of recently. And Turk, a lot of times, he reveals a lot of things about a lot of misconceptions about Hot Boys. All right. Turk, he answers a lot of questions that we didn't know about. And he also reveals things about Hot Boys that we didn't know either, about Cash Money Records. So nonetheless, Turk might be a threat to the Hot Boys, to Cash Money. Who knows? But one thing I do know, they need to have, in order to have official reunion, they're going to have to bring Turk back in, all right? So shout out to Turk, shout out to Juvie, shout out to Wayne, and shout out to BG. Listen, BG is home. Facts, B Jizzle's home. And that's a great thing, my brother. One thing I want to see too. The only thing that I want to see is BG gonna be able to return back to his status? Meaning, he's a social icon. BG is a icon on a hip hop level, though might not be on a pop level, but hip hop, urban, he's a legend, right? I think he has some type of title for one of his albums, something legend, something like that, urban legend, something like that, or maybe that's T.I. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, BG is a legend. So most rappers, when they get out of jail, it depends on how much time you do. All the rappers that I've seen that's did more than 5 to 6 years, 5 to 6 years, you can return. I've seen rappers, let's break it down. Rappers that do 3 years to 5 years incarcerated, whether it be feds or state. Most rappers that do 3 to 5 years, they're able to return and get back their spot. In hip hop, it's hard to get back your spot. I'm gonna tell y'all the real. L.O.T.S approved media. Remember, you heard it here first. In hip hop, most rappers that go to jail from 3 to 5 years, they're able to return and retain their spot, to obtain their spot once again. It's not a long time, but a lot of times when you do more time than that, there's other variables that come to consideration in returning to that spot. All right, and we'll break that down. But for the most part, when you do 3 to 5 years in hip hop, when you talk about 3 to 5 years incarceration, you're usually able to find your style again. You're usually able to get back to where you were, right? Let's give some examples. How about Roddy Rebel and Bobby Shmurda? All right, now you see Bobby. Shout out to Bobby. A lot of people complaining about Bobby woo-de-woo, right? Some people say Bobby has not returned back to his spot that he was originally. Bobby was damn near taking over the industry. All right. Some say when he got released, the sound wasn't sounding the same. The quality of the sound wasn't the same. But to Bobby's defense, to me, Bobby found his style. Bobby did not know his style. Bobby's not a conventional rapper. Bobby's being very natural and organic. So when Bobby gives you his style, Bobby was still finding his style when he made that song, Bobby Bitch, Bobby Bitch. Bobby used to be fire, but he was finding his style nonetheless. And that stopped midway through. Due to incarceration, he wasn't fully able to bring his style into a full cipher, full fruition. His style was still in the development stages, is what I'm trying to say. All right. Now let's talk about Roddy Rebel. Roddy Rebel, same guy. Bobby Shmurda came out at the same time. Roddy Rebel now, he's better than ever. Lyrically, Roddy Rebel right now, Roddy is doing his numbers lyrically. All right, I see what you're doing, Roddy. I see exactly what you're doing out there, brother. And you fire, homie. Roddy Rebel is fire. It takes some time, but keep doing that. Keep producing that quality that you do. Because I can see that Roddy Rebel, he has a thing for hip hop. Roddy Rebel takes times with his lyrics. He got some lyrics. So shout out to Roddy Rebel. All right. And I feel like Roddy Rebel is rhyming longer than Bobby. For some reason, Roddy always had the lyrics. Bobby, content-wise, Bobby was more energy. The lyrics was dope, but when you're talking about his friend, Roddy Rebel is lyrical. And if you guys get a chance, go on social network and listen to some of Roddy Rebel's music. All right, that's Bobby's homie. When they both came out of jail, Roddy was able to go back into position. Roddy is lyrically right back at where he was before he got incarcerated. And Roddy probably is even a little bit better than when he got incarcerated right now. All right. So when I'm saying Roddy has progressed, unlike Bobby, shout out to Bobby Shmurda, and I still believe in Bobby. To be honest with you, I still believe in Bobby, but I just feel like the industry is a machine, right? The industry is a machine. When you're an artist, when you take an artist and you try to confine him and you try to restrict the artist, that hinders their artistry. It hinders their creativity. So Bobby's just not in a good space right now. He's not in a good space like he was before, creativity-wise. But nonetheless, shout out to Bobby, because Bobby still has one of the hardest singles ever made in mankind, all right? Scientifically proven. Bobby Shmurda has one of the top 10 hip-hop singles of all time, no matter what. So Bobby Shmurda, even if Bobby Shmurda never returns back to his original position in hip-hop, Bobby Shmurda still has one of the best hip-hop singles ever known to hip-hop, all right? Scientifically proven. Scientifically. Have you ever seen a Bobby Shmurda song perform? The song, the song where he throws his hat in the air, have you ever seen that perform in the club? Every time to this day, people still react to Bobby's music. So I don't know if BG's going to be able to return to that spot. That's the question. And we praying for BG. But most artists that I see do 10 years or more, they're unable to return back to that spot. All right. One person I'm gonna talk about, and we're gonna wrap this up right here about the BG coming home. But I had to stay on this because BG's a big deal. Hello, BG's home, and the streets gotta tell it. Shout out to B Jizzle. All right, and what we're speaking about is BG gonna be able to return back to his status, not his public status, because obviously that's not gonna change. He's a legend. And there's so many other things you could do in hip-hop to sustain. You don't necessarily have to do music to sustain in the hip-hop culture, right? He has enough music where he could perform for the rest of his life. BG is set for life musically. And there's so many other platforms in hip-hop. You have hence podcasting. You have a lot of different platforms that are adjacent to hip-hop that you could thrive in, all right? And be still as relevant as you was in rapping. All right, shout out to Make It Happen in the building, that part. Big up, family. Trinidad in the building, you heard? We got them all the way out the country, you heard? Hey, you guys do me a favor. Make It Happen. This is one of my, I like this artist right here. I'm going to be real with you, bro. Right? He's one of my favorite artists in reference to artists that are undiscovered. In reference to artists, I feel like they don't get their fair chance. All right? Shout out to Make It Happen in the building. That's fire, brother. You guys do me a favor. Go to YouTube and check out Make It Happen's music. All right, go on YouTube and run up his YouTube. Very, very intelligent rapper. Very intelligent. All right, he's definitely L.O.T.S approved, stamped. That part. He's very intelligent, man. Speaks about social issues and he's lyrical, and he got dope rhymes. All right. And we're not talking about no backpack. I'm not really a big up of backpack rapping, so he's not a backpack rapper. All right, but shout out to the backpack rappers too. But I'm more so like rappers that are like intelligent but still have street edge. I don't really, when you talk about if you're a conscious rapper but you have no street edge to you, I don't really gravitate to that because I can't identify with that, but I still respect that, right? Because I respect hip hop as an art form in the whole. All right, so shout out to the backpack rappers, shout out to the conscious rappers, shout out to the gangster rappers, shout out to the hippie get high rappers, Wiz Khalifa rappers, shout out to all rappers. All right, hip hop forever remain. So back to BG, like I said, Sean Poe came home. Sean got deported. As soon as he got released from federal prison. Sean did about 10 years, I believe, and he got deported to Belize. All right, shout out to Belize, in which his father, I believe, is the prime minister in Belize. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but his father is a big government official in Belize. But nonetheless, Sean has yet to return to his vocal status. Sean has yet to return to his musical status of where he was prior to being incarcerated. All right? He dropped a project while he was incarcerated called Godfather, but Sean has not returned back to that spot. And I'm only saying that, big up to Sean Poe, because Sean Poe is one of my favorite artists. Facts, though. All right. Nonetheless, he wasn't able to return back to that spot after 10 years. 10 years is a long time in hip-hop. 10 years, listen, for the cats that did 10 years in prison and try to come home and get back their spot, doing 10 years in hip-hop, when you come home, first of all, hip-hop changes every 4 to 5, every 5 to 6 years. Hip-hop changes. Like literally the complexion of hip-hop changes. All right? Hip-hop is forever evolving. Hip-hop is the youngest art form out of all art forms. Well, not since the coming of reggaeton. Reggaeton, I believe, is the latest art form, right? But prior to reggaeton, hip-hop is the youngest art form. Hip hop is we just had our 50th year anniversary. So shout out to hip hop 50th anniversary. And like I said, we're the youngest art form. Throughout history, when I'm seeing rappers that get incarcerated after 10 years, I've never seen a rapper after 10 years get incarcerated and vocally able to match where he was prior to being incarcerated. Their vocal cords change. Hip hop as a culture changes every 5 to 6 years, as I was saying, right? So when you come out, it's a whole different, it might be a different look. First of all, fashion-wise, hip hop is constantly evolving, constantly changing. But remember, a thing with fashion is history repeats itself with fashion, right? So, but nonetheless, hip hop changes. So you had to go from baggy jeans to slimmer clothes. People remember you out of the baggy jeans era. Then you have a different implement. Hip hop, a different production comes in. Every couple of years, there's a new type of production coming into hip hop, right? So it's how relevant is your sound in hip hop prior to you being incarcerated. All right. What it was to be gangster back then is a different type of gangster now. There wasn't drill music back then, but niggas was talking about shooting cats, right? So how do you, as now a gangster now, you saw them gangster records and you do 10 years and you come home and now it's drill music. They talking about spinning and things of that nature. How do you feel about adjusting to the new climate? That's a big adjustment. Most rappers cannot adjust to the climate after 10 years. 10 years changing some of your subject matter, changing how you dress, trying to find back that vocal tone. You ever seen somebody try to remake their masters? That's the thing that Ashanti tried to do with Irv Gotti. There's a thing now where you see a lot of artists now, as soon as when the time runs out on copyrights and stuff like that, you see a lot of artists now, they're trying to re-record their records. The thing is, when you're an artist, you try to re-record the records. What they're doing is, they're trying to re-record the records so they can get all the proceeds from the records. That's the thing when the copyrights run out, when the patents run out and stuff like that. People recreate. But the thing is now, how are you going to mimic your same vocal tone from 10 years ago? Physically, you're a different person. It's going to be very, very hard to duplicate that same vocal tone, that original vocal tone with a 10-year gap, all right? And that's what you have with hip-hop now. That's what you got with BG. Hopefully BG doesn't experience that. But like I said, after 10 years of being incarcerated, I haven't seen too many rappers that were able to get back to where they were. Vocally, music-wise, meaning the quality of just the music overall. Especially being able to adapt, because you're going to have to adapt with the younger. You're going to have to adapt with the younger generation, all right? So nonetheless, shout out to BG. You got a road ahead of you, but you have all the resources. You know what I mean? Your voice is very strong. So you didn't have a light voice, and I think you still came out with that strong voice. Hopefully that was your real voice, because I think Sean Poe's voice probably wasn't his real voice, because Sean Poe used to kind of mimic Biggie. So that probably wasn't even his real voice like that. The same way Pop Smoke, that wasn't Pop Smoke's real voice. Even his brother said he never used to speak like that. His voice was never deep like that. All right. So these are hip hop little things I want to give you guys, let you guys know about. Most people don't pay attention to those details. But nonetheless, shout out to BG. We're super happy BG is back home, man. But once again, let's give some horns for BG. Big up Cash Money Records, and shout out to BG. Welcome home on behalf of L.O.T.S approved media. All right, to y'all. Listen, man, I'm going to go through this comment section, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Like I said before, God, listen, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Make sure